in 2022, I managed to pivot into marketing at JP Morgan without any relevant qualifications. And within a year there, I got promoted. And I since have left and got another job offer this year at a big company. So I do have some successful job search experience to share with you and how I forged my own path. In this video, I will talk to you about how I found these jobs to apply, CV and portfolio tips, the interview process and interview preparation, mistakes I made when negotiating my salary, and how I fix it next time. Watch till the end because I will show you my actual CV and so you can copy what I did there. I actually even hired a career coach that cost me £700 for a few hours to look at my CV. But first, who am I? I mean, people get jobs all the time. Why is it that I think I have something new to offer? Okay, I got into marketing and have since then pursuing a creative path in corporate, and I have really enjoyed my work. Before this, I was on a work visa for 5 years. And during these 5 years, I was at Lloyds Banking Group doing many different roles that was very technical to satisfy the conditions of my visa. And after 5 years on work visa, I was able to apply for a permanent residency, which means I didn't need a sponsorship anymore and had no work restrictions. So I could actually explore going to a different area, even if I had to start from the beginning. But luckily, when I pivoted into marketing at JP Morgan, I was not at the beginning. I actually got a higher salary than what I got at Lloyds. I didn't have a marketing degree. I went to uni for psychology. And I also didn't have any marketing qualifications or did any marketing roles at Lloyds. So how did I do it? I'll share with you. Number one, how I found this job. LinkedIn. LinkedIn has been my go-to source of jobs. It has worked out well for me. I will find the jobs through LinkedIn and then go to their website to apply. But I have got job offers through the easy apply button from a big company. It does work sometimes. Number two, my CV and portfolio. There's a portfolio needed because I applied for a creative job within marketing at JP Morgan. My job required graphic design skills, video editing skills, so I needed to demonstrate those skills on my CV. What did I put on there? How did I get an interview? I'll be honest, it has been very hit and miss with JP Morgan because throughout my 5 years on a work visa, I applied so many times, but never got picked up. I think I got picked up once and it didn't go anywhere. I got ghosted back then and it was traumatizing for a long time. But anyway, I got in now, so it is fine. Honestly, I don't have a foolproof method to always getting your CV looked at if you apply cold online. But I know that if you do have someone inside, you have someone to refer you who knows the hiring manager personally, they can get your CV looked at because I did that for someone else while I was at JP Morgan. And they did look at it and give me direct feedback as well. So it did work like that. One thing I did do differently this time with my CV was that I tailored it to the job description a lot more. I pick out the main keywords from the job description and swap it in my CV where appropriate and relevant, of course. So just how it is worded in my CV, I word it the same way as it is in the job description. I wanted it to be picked up by that automatic tracking system. Second thing I did was that I picked out a lot of relevant experiences from my past roles, even though I didn't do any roles directly related to marketing. For example, when I worked in operations, I created a newsletter for the whole department, for example. Or when I was in a research team, I would help them organize an event across the country, and that involved creating a lot of marketing materials, things like that. And in my free time, I also had a website, I had a blog, I was writing for websites like Thought Catalog, Huffington Post. Back then I was doing it for free. Now your girl is a paid freelance journalist with work in the BBC and Business Insider. Times have changed. But back then, even when I was writing for free, I would have my work displayed somewhere. Actually, after I quit my job at Lloyds, I even took a break from corporate jobs. So I quit Lloyd's in September 2021 and I applied for a job at JP Morgan in December the same year and I got the job offer the year after. So during that time of break, I even created a dating course. And guess what? I included this dating course in my application to JP Morgan because I did everything myself. I did a book cover, graphic design, writing, all those skills could be demonstrated through that work. And entrepreneurship because I actually did do marketing campaign for that course. I didn't make money from the course. As I mentioned, I did actually hire a coach to help me with a CV. So I do have some tips from her. So first, summary. You need an executive summary at the top to really make you stand out. But don't put generic things like driven, determined, because anyone can write that. And don't make yourself just sound like a grad. If you already have some experiences, for example, something about you that really make you stand out and unique and something that other people don't have. Don't write things that people just skim and then just put their brain on automatic. Write something that really bring out the essence of you, the skills, the experience that only you have. Make you pop so that they remember you, because that will be the first thing they look at, is that whatever you use to describe yourself. Make yourself stand out. Sell yourself. I've seen many CVs and I've seen them make mistakes like this all the time. You put your company's name and then you put your role description, but you don't put any information about your role or your company. And to you, it's obvious, but to other people, no, they don't know. Especially if you coming from another country to the UK, study for a year, for example, and then you're blind, you have a lot of experiences from your home country. To you, it might be such a known company, but to people here, they wouldn't know. So you need to tell them the company description, the context of it, the context of your role, and the scope of your role, and how big it is. For example, if you just write team manager, but actually in reality, you manage a massive team of, 100 people, for example, just as an example, they wouldn't know, right? Because it could be, 2 people or 10 people. So you need to be very specific about that. And numbers always help. Always pull out the figures. The achievements have to be clear what achievement it is. Write out exactly the skills in those achievements as well. Number 3, the application process. Ooh. So what was the application process like at JP Morgan? So my role was individual contributor role. So it is quite a straightforward process for that role. The first one was a HR screening with someone from HR who basically just called me to ask basic questions, and I share a bit about myself, my salary expectations, and all that to check box. I was actually very worried about it because I was not good on the phone. I was better if I do video call, but just on the phone and voice alone, I was somehow quite self-conscious. I don't like to do calls that much. I am quite an introvert, so I just don't like to call with people. I thought that I blew the interview, but I was progressed to the next round. So after the screening, it was an interview with a team member. After that interview, it was the interview with the hiring manager and their manager. So it could have been 2 separate interviews, but to save time, they did it together. And after that, it was a final call with HR to negotiate salary and everything else. It was quite straightforward. It was around 2 months, I think. I was doing the interview process from January and I started work in April. So I did have a bit of a break, like a month or so in the middle for background check and some time off. But it was quite a bit of gap in between interviews. It was quite nerve-wracking at that time. I didn't know it would work out. And, for a long time, I really wanted to get into this company. And so it was quite a special moment, I would say. Number 4, the interviews. Tell me about yourself. That's literally the only question I ever prepared, because that's always the first question they ask. And that was the question that formed their impression of you. It is very quick, right? They meet you and then they hear a few words coming out of your mouth, how you answer it, how you go about it, and they already form some ideas of you. They kind of make some decision. After that, they just want to collect more evidence to convince themselves that decision. Every time after I prepare that question, tell me about yourself, it also helped me think of all the experiences I have done as well. So when they ask other questions, I already have a rough idea of it based on that question. One advice I have for this part is always use storytelling, something that make people drawn in, and don't just share fact in a timely order. For example,
I went to school this year and I did this role first.
No. Talk about what it is that make you passionate, what make you get out of the door. Tell them something like, I love create content that people actually watch. That's just an example. But do something like that can draw people in. If you have done something really remarkable, pull it in the front. For example, during my university year, I cold emailed Ariana Huffington and got her reply and went on to do an internship at Huffington Post in London. That was such a wild experience for me, but something I'm also very proud of. So in that interview, I just went straight in, said something about myself, and then immediately dropped that fact in. And my interviewer, my hiring manager at the time, happened to really like Ariana Huffington, so she was very impressed about it. Always bring up those facts, something that you're very proud of. Just bring it at the front, share it first, position yourself as a winner. You are a winner. You are the best candidate. I also want to recommend is that I did a course in communication skills at London Speech Workshop, and I found it very helpful to help me even to make this video without a detailed script, to just talk and feel more confident at talking and sharing my stories. And it is important to learn that skills during interview, not to be like, and then, or when they ask you some examples that you haven't prepared for, feel so nervous. Those skills that make you just say anything on the spot and make conversations with people, it is so important. So it's worth investing in. And I will put the link in the comment section for you to check out as well. It has been very helpful for me, so you don't have to be scared of interviews anymore. Number 5, negotiation. I enjoyed my job at JP Morgan, but one mistake that I made was that I didn't negotiate salary well. They just asked me what I wanted, and I just told them, and then I gave them all my previous salary information. So that was that. There's no negotiation really. Just they asked, I told them. And I know if you read any negotiation advice online, you will know that you should never do that. You should never go in blind like that or give a figure first. You should always ask them what the budget and then go from there. During the negotiation process, don't be afraid to just ask for more or suggest other things. Perhaps they're not able to give you more base salary, then you can ask for bonus, for guarantee bonus at the end of the years, for sign-on bonus, for other things as part of the package as well. So always negotiate, always ask, just as a principle. Don't leave money on the table. It is a long video. I feel like I've been talking non-stop. Is there anything missing? Oh, my actual CV, right? Okay, your wish is my command. Yeah. If there is anything that I have not covered, if any questions you have, please feel free to leave a comment. I will reply to you. Ask me.